Be inspired. Behind the Business. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on the Wave, 94.5 and 93.7 FM. Brought to you by Quartz Ready Cash.
Get cash now. Quartz Ready Cash has the fastest loan approvals. We can get you money in hand in as little as 24 hours. Start fresh with a Quartz Ready Cash hassle-free loan today. Our application process is easy and no deposit is required. All you need is one government ID, your job letter, a recent salary slip, a utility bill. Visit any of our Quartz branches or apply online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com/St.Lucia and ask about our credit protection insurance or CPI. Contact us today to start fresh with the cash you need. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Terms and conditions apply.
And it is that time already. You're locked on to the Wave 94.5 and 93.7 FM. And it's another Tuesday, which means another great episode of Behind the Business, brought to you compliments Quartz Ready Cash. Just want to let you know, if you need to start fresh with some cash, Quartz Ready Cash got you covered. If you're struggling, you need some money for maybe bills, repairs, and emergencies. Something happened during Hurricane Elsa. You need to fix things up. No worries. You could get up to $20,000. No deposit is required, and the service is fast and hassle-free. Same-day approval awaits you with Quartz Ready Cash. You can apply online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com, or you could visit any branch and get the money you need, the cash you need to start, whether it's a business, whatever it may be. Quartz Ready Cash is here and they got you covered. All right, so let's go behind the business today. It's going to be a great talk. We're going to be chit-chatting with the Crafty Islander. Now, we all know Alvar. I think once you see the face, you know, oh, I know him. He's been in the food and beverage industry for over 16 years. Great experience. And throughout the journey, he's been very active and influential in the field of mixology. He's been quite successful over the years, and he's obtained many awards and accolades that we will talk about in his field today. But in the wake of COVID-19, that bulb went off and Alva started the Crafty Islander. Yes, he capitalized on a tough situation, and he specializes now in eco-friendly bamboo products, bottled cocktail ingredients, bar catering services, and furniture made from the reclaimed pallet wood. And his core focus is on encouraging an eco-friendly and sustainable lifestyle through creativity, and to help improve the quality of bar services offered in St. Lucia. So we're so happy to have him on. Hi, Alva. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for making time in your busy day. I'm sure you have stuff to do.
Oh yes.
But you've made time for us. We definitely appreciate it, and we're so excited to talk about your business, the Crafty Islander. Now, a lot of the people that I bring on to the program, it's people that I follow on social media. It's like I follow so many small businesses, and yours was one that I follow, and I'm like, this is a great business, and I had to have you on the program. So thank you so much for joining us. So Alva, before we get into the Crafty Islander, your baby, let's talk about you being in this industry for so many years, food and beverage. Everybody knows the face. We've seen you on TV, on social media.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little of that story.
So, thanks again, Masana, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. But I started in this industry over 16 years ago. Not really sure where I was heading at the time, just left school and trying to figure out, what do I want to do? And I landed a job in as a server, very first time, which was once what we call Club St.Lucia. And that was the beginning of food and beverage.
That was it. As they say, the rest was history. All
and
right.
the rest was history. The only thing I can remember from that time was my first day on the job. I managed to successfully drop a tray of champagne on a bride.
That's like on a bride?
Yeah, that was my welcoming.
Oh my gosh! Like the worst possible thing that could
happen. Baptism.
Yes.
So it was definitely a good start. At the time I didn't know much, but I've really stuck with it and learned so much throughout my years, and I really started from the bottom. So I started as a server back then, and then got into the field of bartending briefly for a few years as a barback, so washing glasses and that sort of thing.
Wow.
Really learning the core fundamentals of that of bartending, even before actually doing it, and got into it and fell in love with it from since then.
Wow.
My mixology experience really started when I started at Delirious in Rodney Bay. I'm sure everybody remembers Delirious.
I think we've all had a drink from you, and everybody wants you to make the drink, right?
I really got to experiment and be creative, and it brought out my creative side,
right?
From my tenure there. And I took part in so many competitions as well. I got opportunities, represented St. Lucia in the Taste of the Caribbean culinary competition, won Caribbean Bartender of the Year in 2010. So, a lot. I've gained a lot of experience from my years and really learned how to appreciate what the industry does for someone who takes it seriously.
Yes, and it's so important that you said that, because Alva, a lot of people, some people I think don't give appreciation to the skill of bartending and mixology, because it really is an art. I started watching this show, Bar Rescue. I'm not sure you know of it, with John Taffer, and just as the way they have to learn all these different, this ounce and 2 ounces and to pour together, and I'm like, wow, there's so much that goes behind just making a simple drink enjoyable for somebody, because they're spending their money on this.
Exactly.
How were you able to take that skill? Because like you said, you started off really from the bottom and you grew.
Yeah.
Not everybody who wants to be a bartender will be good at bartending. That's just life.
Yeah.
How are you able to learn that skill and to really master your craft?
It starts with your passion. So you have to have a passion for the field. Really take it seriously and have a love for coming every day and keep doing the same thing over and over again. And it's all about satisfying your customers' needs at the end of the day. That's what it's all about.
Right.
That the look on a customer's face after giving them a drink, a cocktail that you made, is unparalleled. You can't, it's what every bartender who takes this seriously yearns for.
Yeah.
That's what you're on the job for. And I guess, for me, being able to see what I can get out of the industry, putting the time in, putting the effort in, and reaping the rewards was really what was a driving force for me.
Right.
So a lot of long hours, a lot of sacrifices were made, coming in to work early every day to sort of prep, going to the market and getting ingredients, doing stuff that is not normally done by a bartender, and it was a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices. At that time, my son was just born. I was 24 years old, very young, and I felt like this was what I had to do every day. But I loved it, and every night your customers would come out and you get the feedback from what you do, and it keeps you going. It keeps you going, it keeps you pushing to do better every day. And then came the accolades, taking part in competitions.
Right.
And Masana, what was really a defining moment for me was in 2010, I was chosen to take part to represent St. Lucia in Puerto Rico for the Taste of the Caribbean culinary competition. And, I had no confidence. I literally said to myself, believe it or not, I was like, how am I going to go over to Puerto Rico island bartender who's, I'm looking at myself like no experience, and I'm gonna go and face up against bartenders from the Virgin Islands, Curacao, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, every single Caribbean island and more. There was 13 Caribbean countries.
Wow.
So my confidence level was way down there. And I said to my boss, listen, I can't do this. I'm not going.
You said, really?
I said, I'm not going. I'm not going to embarrass myself. You know? And she said to me, you don't have an option. If you want your job, you're going to go. So at the time, I was like, okay.
Ultimatum.
So I kept on pushing, and I did what I knew how to do best, which is, practice and take it very seriously. And I went up to Puerto Rico in 2010. And I came out with the Caribbean Bartender of the Year for that. And that's winning over 13 other countries, the highest accolade for that competition.
Do you remember the mixes that you made for
that?
Really?
Clearly, yeah.
Could you share?
Yeah. So the competition was structured so that each bartender had to practice 3 different cocktails in their home country, and then come to present those cocktails to the judges. So I had to do a non-alcoholic cocktail, a vodka cocktail, and a rum cocktail. And I think the rum cocktail was called the Time for Passion. And it was a combination of fresh thyme, elderflower, liqueur, Chairman's Reserve White, passion fruit juice, and orange bitters.
Wow. Okay.
The vodka cocktail was called a rosemary grapefruit martini. So it was vanilla infused vodka with rosemary syrup, fresh grapefruit juice, and grapefruit bitters. And the non-alcoholic was called a melonberry smoothie using sea-wet jam, with fresh watermelon, blended over ice with some sugar and lime. It was really nice.
I must say that's 11 years ago, and you remember it so well.
I remember it like it was yesterday, because I practiced that for like 6 to 7 months non-stop.
What?
7 months non-stop of practice. And I won the competition, and let me tell you. What
was that feeling like for you, that moment?
It was surreal.
You were ready to pull out of the competition, you ultimately won.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I underestimated myself, and it was a learning experience for me, and something I would like to share with other bartenders as well. If you work hard on your practice, then you will be successful.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you may think of yourself, but follow those fundamentals, practice, train, educate yourself, right? Then we have the World Wide Web at our disposal.
Yeah.
With so much information out there. You can get it, you can do it. Right. Go out there and do it, and trust me, you may not think much of yourself, but then somebody else will see what's you not
see the potential in you. It seems like consistency has been your theme throughout your career. You've been consistent in your discipline, in your learning of the craft. From listening to you, this has just been a similar trend for you. Just remain consistent in whatever you do. And to me, for being a bartender, it is so important, because somebody could make, and I must say, there's one drink I find that is so difficult for bartenders here to do great consistently, and amaretto sour. Would you agree? They make the drink the first time you order it, that knocking Alva. You order another one, and then it's like, is it the same person that made the drink?
So it's the one issue that you find with a lot of bartenders or bars, is that they don't see the bartending art as culinary.
Okay.
So a pastry chef uses measurements to make cake every single time, hands down. There isn't one chef or pastry chef that you will find that will make a dish for you and not have a measuring cup.
Right.
Somehow that doesn't translate into beverages for a lot of people, but it should. So the key to consistency in any bar is to ensure that you use your measurements. It doesn't, but bartenders feel like it's uncool to hold that jigger, pour amaretto in, and measure it. Instead, they just free pour, and then they take the sugar and they free pour, and then hence why you get into inconsistencies.
So is that something that you continue to do? You measure your ingredients?
It's because of my experience with competitions. It's one of the fundamental rules of competitions where you have to use measurements. and for consistency. So it's sort of stuck with me. And it's only one way you can get the same result all the time. It's like what I do right now. You have to use recipes. You have to use measurements. You can't just wing it.
Right.
If you wing it, you get a winged result every time.
Right. That's so important. I just want to mention some of the accolades because I know we won't be able to touch on everything. Like we said, you won the Caribbean Bartender of the Year in 2010 at the Taste of the Caribbean competition. That earned you a spot on the CHDA Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Congratulations. You also won Bartender of the Year in St. Lucia in 2009 and 2013 at the Chairman's Reserve Challenge. We remember that.
Yes.
I'm sure you had a lot of bartenders shaking when they saw you. They're like,
well, you know, Masana, honestly, I right now, I probably would not take part in a local competition again.
Yeah.
Because that experience was like, the bartenders were like, yeah, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
because But it's fair. It's fair enough. So I sort of stick to mentoring bartenders now rather than trying to take part in competitions. Not that I'm not interested, but I think in any industry there must be growth.
Yeah.
So I take more value in actually teaching bartenders how to do what I've learned how to do. And it's proven to be pretty successful as well, because I've had throughout my tenure at Delirious, after I took part in those competitions, I mentored quite a lot of bartenders who took part in that very same competition. Some of them came out with silver medals, you know, and that sort of thing.
Nice.
And even a lot of local competitions as well. So it's been very rewarding for me to share the experience that I've gotten with bartenders and to really you know, share the knowledge.
Yeah. Which is
is
something you don't get quite often, you know. People tend to keep that to themselves because you don't want somebody to be as good as you. It's a sad thing that as human beings, it's just a tendency. But it's nice that you've done that. So you also mentor young bartenders. You served on the management of the St. Lucia National Culinary Team. You coached and led them to a major achievement, both locally and internationally. That's awesome. Yeah.
I take a lot of pride in sharing knowledge, and I think that's what most, if not all, professionals should be doing. Because we're only here for a short space of time.
Yes.
So give somebody else an opportunity.
An opportunity to shine. I agree. Now, COVID hits. And the world changed a lot of people's lives, especially the industry that you're in. A lot of people were negatively affected by COVID-19. You know, jobs were lost, businesses are closed down, and it was a hard time for a lot in the food and beverage industry, hospitality industry in general. But Alva, that bulb went off, and you decided to go for it, literally go for it, and create your own business, the Crafty Islander. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so let's go back to 2018.
Okay.
My previous job was the food and beverage manager at Coco Palm, and you know, for many years I was doing all this mentoring and sort of taking part in competitions. You kind of see, and you want to be able to add value to your industry in your island. And I really sat down and said, you know what, I need to do something. I feel like it's a calling for me. I feel like, you know, I'm being called to a higher level where I need to do more, you know? So mentoring was great, but I felt like I still should be doing more. So I said, you know what, let's see what I can do. So I sat down and came up with this idea for the Crafty Islander, you know, after many different name comparisons and all that. Finally found the name I would like. And then, you know, putting down a sort of like a small business plan of what I would like it to be, which at the time was supposed to be cocktail ingredients for sale and bottled cocktails as well. It's a huge market overseas, and I felt, you know, let me tap into that and see what I can get out of it.
Because we don't have that here.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And at the time, unfortunately, I was too busy with work. That I had the idea, but never really got it off the ground. Never really had the time to even think about it until September 2020, in the midst of COVID, where a lot of uncertainty, wasn't sure what was going to happen. We all thought that by September the hotel industry would have bounced back already.
Right.
And then you realize September was like an eye opener. It ain't coming back.
Yeah.
You know, and having so many obligations, lost, you know, nearly 70% of my salary at the time, and figured, well, hey, what what can I do? You know, I can't sit around and wait. We need to get something going. So, you know, fortunately, I got approached by St.Lucia distillers. You know, I really work closely with them, and they wanted me to do some bamboo cups for Creole Day. So bamboo cups was not part of my business plan. It was bamboo straws that was part of my business plan at the time, but not cups. But they had approached me and said, "Hey, can you help us with this? We really have this idea that we want to get some bamboo cups for Creole Day." I said, "Okay, no problem." I've had some small experience with bamboo before, so I took on the task, and that was how bamboo started. You know, the bamboo part of my business started. Went out, did my first harvest of bamboo, and started making cups. And you know, it's been a pretty long journey, because it took me down quite a lot of different learning experiences.
I must say,
to really understand.
I can imagine, yeah.
but you know, they approached me, and I started doing that, and I sort of saw the value in creating and making these bamboo cups, and people saw the value in it. Not me. Let me rephrase that. My customers saw the value in it, and sort of brought out the best of my business, basically.
Yeah, and it's true, because, you know, especially around Creole time, everybody looks for these bamboo items, and it's like, where do you go to buy that? Like,
the funny thing is, Creole Day never happened. Yeah, it never happened. So the cups never really got out there. Up to the day like today, they still have those set of cups.
Wow.
We've been there. Yeah,
but look at what you got from that.
But you know, the funny thing is, it sounds all nice and rosy, but after that first harvest that I did of bamboo went to waste, because I didn't understand what I was doing at the time.
Wow.
So I had completed a load of 50 cups and had to scrap everything and start from scratch, because I did not understand what I was doing. So at that time I took a step back, did some research, and then came back. But I was able to deliver to them on time regardless. But it was not an easy road at all.
I could imagine working with bamboo. I have never heard an easy story with bamboo items. And
so it was a great experience with the bamboo. But that's how I started the bamboo. It was not an initial plan, but I got into it through that aspect.
Right.
Now, my bottled ingredients which is called shrubs. That I did have as part of my business plan, and started to experiment with at the time, and got it out there. So shrubs are non-alcoholic beverages with a base of apple cider vinegar, fresh fruit, and granulated sugar and aromatics.
Right. So you have different flavors.
Yes, I have 3 different flavors that I make now. I do a rosemary and grapefruit. I do a passion fruit, and I do a smoked pineapple shrub.
Wow.
Shrubs have been around for quite a long time, dating back from the colonial times. Shrubs were a form of fruit preservation because there was a lack of refrigeration. Right. So apple cider vinegar acts as a preservative to keep the fruit fresh.
I was just going to ask, so what is the shelf life like for your shrubs?
About 6 months.
6 months?
6 months, yeah.
Ooh.
6 months. In the refrigerator will give you
Wow. And how can persons get a hold of your mixes, and are these the only options as part? Do you have any alcoholic
not
cocktails?
yet, you know. I'm actually, I've been so busy that I haven't been able to really come up with any new I do have the ideas, but it hasn't come to life yet.
Right.
But it will be soon.
Okay.
So right now I only offer these 3 flavors, and they're all non-alcoholic, and they're perfect for a few different things.
Okay.
The shrubs are best used as to consume with water for your daily intake of apple cider vinegar, or you can add it to your salads.
Give it a little taste.
Yes, because of the high level of acidity as well. And they're great for marinating. So like my smoked pineapple is perfect if you want to do a baked ham with smoked pineapple. You can just imagine.
Yeah, I could taste it already.
You know?
Wow.
So it's a handy household ingredient. It's what I call it. And I have it every day. Every day I consume.
Wow. Can we look forward to seeing it on the shelves at retail outlets?
At some time soon. You know, COVID has really dealt a big blow and has really had I've had to really scale down how much I can do and how soon to keep the business going. So I do intend to get it on there, and Marcy has shown interest.
Nice.
But that will happen in not too distant future.
Right. We'll give it time.
Yeah. So another part of my business that I also do is the pallet furniture.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is absolutely amazing.
So that came from my love for doing DIY projects at home. You know, I kind of, in my free time, I always like to build something.
Okay.
Wasn't very good at it,
Really?
but I tried it, believe it or not. And again, I was asked to build some shelving for St.Lucia distillers again, some pallet bars and that sort of thing. And I did that for them, and again, my customers saw it, and people started to inquire whether or not I could do certain projects. And I took it on, and again, the more projects that I took on and shared it, the more projects that I'm doing.
You're doing right.
So I'm driven by my customers. I really am. You know, whatever my customers request, I do the research, we conceptualize designs, and then I execute the build.
The time, your labor time that you spent on making these products, it looks like it takes forever. I saw you had this huge shelf, like with different sections and stuff, and it was well varnished and everything, and I'm like, that must have taken like maybe 2-3 weeks.
Not necessarily. So once I do get into building a project, it's a very quick process.
Wow. Okay.
You know, having a backlog of projects does delay the time frame of a build. But once you start, and you know, the first thing I do is I conceptualize the build. So you look at dimensions, what's the width, the height, and the design.
Right.
And so that's all planned out, you know, to scale. So accurate measurements. And then we prep for the build.
Okay.
So once all the prep is done, then you start the build, and then it's between 1 to 5 days you can go from having a project like that completed with proper planning. You know, and that's how we do all our projects in the shop. It's no longer myself anymore.
I was just about to ask, how are you managing that? Okay.
Yeah, I have a team of 3 right now. Myself making 4 in the shop to take on everything that we're doing, basically.
Wow.
Because the shop, we've got the pallet furniture, we've got the bamboo products, and now I've started doing gift items, which sort of came on my doorstep through customer requests again. I had a customer who would ask for a gift box for his girlfriend's birthday, and I was supposed to put a bamboo cup in there, painted in pink, and it came out so beautiful. Never done it before,
right?
But we went on, did it, and from that time, literally,
people started asking.
I've now started doing gift boxes,
nice,
and that sort of thing, customized gift boxes, and yeah, hence why I say I'm driven by my customers.
And I'm sure that list is going to continue to expand, because, you know, people see these crafts everywhere. You're on the internet, Pinterest and stuff, and you're like, where can I get it done? And now you have that option, and it seems like you're always eager to try something new.
Always. You got to keep it going, because every customer wants something different. So you're limiting yourself if you cannot adapt to your customer needs.
Right.
You know, I could say that I'm just gonna
stick to that,
continue doing just bamboo cups and not venture down a different route, but then that will limit what I'm doing. So right now, you know, we're pretty busy. We've got quite a lot of orders in, and I found myself doing a lot of special like, you know, birthdays, anniversaries,
right?
That sort of thing.
Personalized
items for those special occasions. Father's Day was massive for us, and yeah, people love what we do.
So the Crafty Islander, you have your pallets, your craft pallets.
Yes.
You have your shrubs.
Yes.
That's the drinks, and then you have the bamboo cups. You're right, the bamboo cups and straws. How could persons get a hold of you if they need to place an order, whether it's for the cups and straws, or how do we get in contact?
I have a few different platforms. I can be reached via Facebook at the Crafty Islander, or Instagram at the Crafty Islander. and also on WhatsApp, which is my preferred platform for orders, because I really consolidate everything in one place. So I can be reached at 718-2026. Either give me a call or send me a note on WhatsApp, and we'll respond within in a decent time to your request.
All right, wonderful. Now, Alva, we always close the program with some inspirational words for our listeners. There are a lot of people who have those ideas. You had this idea since 2018, and it took something to shift you to get it going. And I'm sure there are so many people listening today who have those ideas, and they're like, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to be successful at it. Or somebody who started but they're not getting themselves fully into it because of fear of, or maybe failure, etc. What words of advice would you have for our listeners today who want to get it going and can't?
So I'll speak from my experience. In 2018, when I put that together, the first thought was, I don't have enough money to start this.
Facts.
That was the first thought. I was like, listen, don't even think about it, because I don't have the money to start it, because I had these grandiose plans of doing so many big things. But when I started doing this in September, and I did not have many resources, so I was forced to use what I had to do what I was doing. And that was where my mindset started to shift and realize, oh no, you don't need a large amount of money to do anything. You just need your skill, and you need to get off your butt and get going. That's as simple as it is. Once you get started, then the rest will fall in place within its own time. Right. You can't do more than you can afford to do, basically. But if you let that hinder you because of a lack of finance, then you will never know what you can achieve. And it's really been, right now, it's a driving force within the business for me. I use that as motivation, because I remember starting out last year, and the finance was not there at all, and I literally had to sort of learn how to use the resources around me. I did not have a team then. I was going into the bamboo fields doing the harvest on my own. So you have to be ready to get down and dirty and make a lot of sacrifices in the beginning, because that's what I did. And I did that without having a vision of what is now, because I really did not intend to have a market for bamboo cups, the way that it is now. That was not the intention. It's just that I went with the flow of what was on the table for me. But while I was doing it, I saw that there was an opportunity, and I grabbed it. So it's important to share what you do as well, because I also had these big plans of investing in some major marketing campaign for what I was doing, and trying to find the money to pay this advertiser, or Instagram, paying somebody to do your Instagram for you and all of that. This is how I was thinking last year. I was like, boy, I really need to get this going. I really want it to be impressive. I really want to
come out with a bang.
But then I realized I ain't got the money for that. And I started to do what I could do. So I started to, take my photos and share it on Instagram, share it and sort of build relationships, which was very, very key to my success right now.
Okay.
You can't do it on your own. You need your customers and you need people. So build relationships and value relationships, because that will definitely be a deciding factor in how successful your business is.
Nice.
Wow. And keep going. Every day you wake up, it's never going to be easy. I can tell you from my experience, I've wanted to give up a few times where I felt like it ain't going nowhere, because I'm taking $1 over here and it's going over there, and you can never really see it. But keep going, because if you look at, there's no business that starts out and becomes profitable immediately. So if you use that as a guide, then you'll know you ain't doing anything wrong. It's just the way that it goes. So you need to keep pushing, ensure that you make some right decisions, and know that you're gonna have to put a lot of hard work into it. But put your heart into it and do what you know how to do best. So what I do is I do what I know how to do best, which is, whenever I make my bamboo cups for a customer, I ensure that I do it to the best of my ability.
Best of your ability. You're right.
Put the effort into the quality of it, and the gift boxes and whatever my customer requests. I ensure that when it leaves the shop, it looks immaculate and the customer gets a high quality product.
Yeah.
And that in itself it just starts a chain reaction because customers then speak. And that becomes
and
your
the word
biggest
of mouth is
advertising
everything.
tool,
Yep.
where word of mouth spreads. So I must say that, and I'm really grateful to my customers who have supported me, and that list begins to grow. It has begun to grow, and I'm really appreciative because I could not have done it without them. And whoever is out there listening and is thinking about, has an idea, I will say to you, do it. Just do it. If you don't do it, you will never know. And I would rather try and fail rather than not try at all and not know whether or not it would have been successful. So go for it.
Nice. Well said. Alva, thank you so much for joining us. It was really a great talk with you today. And I know our listeners will take a whole lot from your experience and your growth in the industry. We wish you, your company, the Crafty Islander, all the very best in the future. Looking forward to getting those drinks.
Yes.
Because I can't mix to save my life. So if I could get that would be perfect to just have those drinks there ready to go.
Yeah, a lot of my customers use the shrubs as mixers for cocktails.
Right.
Because you don't really want to go out and you don't have the experience to do all the nice fancy stuff. So it's easy to take, like, for example, the smoked pineapple shrub is a great mix to go with some spiced rum and some ginger ale. Ooh. Simple and easy, and you have an impressive cocktail that you can wow your friends. Look, I'm a mixologist now.
Yeah,
that
sounds great. That sounds great. Well, we are so happy for you, and we wish you continued success in the future. Alva, thank you so much for being part of the program. We're gonna wrap it up, and of course we'll be back next week Tuesday, same time. It's Behind the Business, brought to you compliments the Courts Ready Cash. And remember, if you need the money, if you need to start that business, if you need to pay off some bills, you're in a little bit of debt, they could get you where you need to go. You could get up to $20,000 and no deposit is required. Remember, the service is fast and hassle-free. You could get same-day approval. All you need with the application process is one government ID, your job letter, recent salary slip, and a utility bill. Now, if you're already into the process, you have a loan and maybe you've fallen on hard times, you've been made redundant, or you lose your job, there is credit protection insurance on all loans with Courts Ready Cash. So you are covered for 1 year of payments with Courts Ready Cash. All right, take that leap and get going today. Behind the Business, brought to you compliments Courts Ready Cash, ready when you are.
Entrepreneurship can be lonely, and starting a business is tough, not just on the practical grind, but also financially and mentally. An entrepreneur should hold on to the vision of their business persistently, especially during this tough economic time. The Wave continues to support the hard work and dedication of local entrepreneurs. Let's shine the spotlight on them. Tune in for Behind the Business, a one-on-one discussion with successful and emerging entrepreneurs on island. Tune in and be inspired. Behind the Business, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by Courts Ready Cash, only on The Wave, 94.5 and 93.7 FM.
Get cash now. Courts Ready Cash has the fastest loan approvals. We can get you money in hand in as little as 24 hours. Start fresh with a Courts Ready Cash hassle-free loan today. Our application process is easy and no deposit is required. All you need is one government ID, your job letter, a recent salary slip, a utility bill. Visit any of our Courts branches or apply online at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com/St.Lucia and ask about our credit protection insurance or CPI. Contact us today to start fresh with the cash you need. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Terms and conditions apply.
Our master brewers started from zero and spent years exploring, brewing, and tasting before they finally created a recipe that